Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Prep Talk podcast hosted by Max Anthony FBA, Big Cat FBA, and Pete's Flips. Today, we have a very special guest in Steven Does Business, one of our close friends, but wanted to save this pod for post-December. Welcome, Steven. Thanks for joining.
Anytime, anything for you boys.
Oh, I appreciate it. All right, so we didn't really do a formal intro to the audience of Sets with Steven. But could you share a little bit about where that came from and then what your goal of that is? Because you're kind of our unofficial fourth host at this point, which is cool to see.
So, me and Kat, we'll go back. So me and Kat were at the gym, and our one mutual friend, all our mutual friend, but close with them, and called me earlier in the day, asked me a question, and then a couple hours later, Kat gets a call getting the same question. And we were like, well, we need some way to help these people, these newer sellers, really understand the basics. Because me and Kat gave the exact same answer. And we're like, why would you call both of us when we gave the same answer? Because we're both very qualified sellers to answer the question. And that's how Sets with Steven started.
Okay, awesome. So really the goal there is to offer another perspective, allow Steven really to just rant on topics. That's really our goal there, because you get Steven going and some good stuff will come out. So really, really excited about that. We'll be having more episodes dropping in the future. As long as Steven is in the US, we can continue to film. But kind of leading into that, you have really taken advantage of the location freedom that Amazon offers. What does that look like in your life? And then how do you kind of play that to your advantage?
So we grinded our butt off for a year and a half for most of it. And then now, we built this business to be able to travel. So the last 2.5 weeks, I've been in Florida. I'm here for another week. We have a place down here. And then I'm going to bounce to Thailand for a few months, or for at least a month. And then I'm traveling up around the U.S. in mid-March, which will be fun, and building the business at the same time. And my VAs are good, prep centers. I have everything kind of outsourced. To the point that I kind of run my business almost like a wholesale business. I'll just go really deep on a day, and then just spend a ton of money, and then I'll be done for a while. That's how a lot of my business looks and works. So I'm not usually sourcing daily, or if I am, I'm just doing it for an hour, not all day. So that's how I try to balance that aspects and work on other projects within my Amazon business as I travel.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed about you, is that you really work in sprints. So you'll work in a 3-month sprint, and then you'll take a couple weeks of not as much activity. You'll go travel, do things you enjoy doing, which most roles would not allow for. So that's really cool. Matt,
you really do run it like a wholesale business. It's pretty interesting the way, just behind the scenes, how you do operate stuff. I think it's kind of unique. I think there's a few other people. I think once you reach the point, when you're doing multiple 6 figures per month, you kind of have to do that. Otherwise, it's just not really feasible. But I did kind of want to ask you, I did have a few questions. I know we're going back to your humble beginnings over here. I don't think a lot of people know your full story from the very beginning. Do you kind of want to just recap for everyone? Because I'm pretty sure you were in the scrunches, sifting through the trash bin, making some flips and kicks over there and doing all that type of stuff. So if you want to kind of go into that, it'd be cool.
Absolutely. So we'll go back. 8th grade, this kid put me on selling shoes from Ross Dress for Less on eBay. Dude, we're going back. You want to go back when I was in the trip?
We've all done it.
Started with that. Then I did that for a couple of years. I was doing regular flips. Shout out to anyone who sold shoes. Jordan 1 off-white Chicago's. I got manually off a drop. Yeah.
What size?
13. I sold it for $1,000. A sneaker con. Now it's worth $6K. And then so I did some thrifting and going to garage sales. Got out of it. I got a really good paying job in high school. Got paid $52 an hour as a commercial roofer. Got out of reselling, got bored of that, after doing that for 4 years in high school. And I started flipping again on eBay and going to thrift stores, garage sales. I was doing $20,000-$30,000 a month that way. And that's a lot more profit versus Amazon. You do lower numbers, but your ROI is significantly higher.
What were those items? Was that like books or what were you doing?
A lot of electronics, like stereo systems, receivers, just because I could buy them for $10, flip them for $100, which is like one of the best ways to start reselling.
Crazy, yeah, crazy margin. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was making like, I don't know, 7-8K a month. I think, don't quote me on that. I could be really off of that. But and then I was moving to Florida last year, and I had to figure out how not to get a real job and how to still make money. So after a little research, came across Amazon and flipping used books. And in my fashion, like these guys know me, I just scale to the moon. So I quit the eBay stuff, literally cold turkey, went all into flipping used books on Amazon, and then scaled that, did RA, and then scaled RA to like 30,000-40,000 a month. And then so my RA was all based in PA. I only went to one store, and that chain was not in Florida. So I would actually fly out for that. And then I had to figure out, so I bought a coaching program. I watched Fletcher Miles. I watched Warner Fields. And
so you were living in Florida and then you were flying up. I think I caught you on the tailwind of this. Maybe not. I don't know.
No. Pete caught me on the tailwind of that. I was the only one that's ever caught me on the tailwind.
Because I do remember you saying a few times, like, oh, I'm flying up to go purchase and then coming back down. Like, I think I was like a month or two after that. But so you were living in Florida. You were just so people can understand the hustle. Because I think some people Amazon, you can definitely take it to whatever level you want, but this dude was living in a different state, flying to another state, doing RA, ripping tens of thousands of dollars, and then just flying back home.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to transition into like why that's possible. So I've done RA with Steven, where I was the co-pilot. But this man creates relationships with folks in the stores that I haven't seen. Can you speak a little bit to that, like provide the audience a little bit of value there, how you think about doing RA and why you've been so successful with it?
So RA isn't going in stores and scanning. That's not the right way to do RA, in my eyes. You can make a lot of money doing that. What I do is I build relationships. So I kind of build like a wholesale account. Like I have stores and stuff, and like even then, like I would be calling them to place orders for me, and with building these connections, it made it so it was just easier to get product, and they liked it a lot. So that's like how I built it. It's like we have a store right now that we can go in there and like we'll spend $100,000.
Yeah,
and that's
crazy.
And like I did that today.
A retail store.
Retail store. Yep. $100,000.
I honestly don't understand why you've never just gone into full wholesale. I mean, I guess you're just so good at what you do, you can. But like you do everything possible to become a wholesale seller without actually doing like 100% wholesale. Like you treat the OA like wholesale. It's like you might as well just do it.
Anything in the name to avoid outreach is Steven's motto, right?
I hate outreach with a passion.
Yeah, but you're really good in person. Like you're really good in person. You like these store managers. I mean, I'm sure some not very fond of you, but some of them love you. They light up when they see you.
Yeah. So you pretty much do everything except actually go wholesale. And you're kind of saying that you were spending $100,000 in the retail, and then I guess Pete was kind of just talking about how you build these relationships with the store manager. What was like the first time that I guess you really kind of were like, hey man, I need to. How do you approach that conversation, right? Because I think people, they get nervous and they don't really know what to say to a manager. They're like, hey, I sell on Amazon. I need 1,000 units. Like, no, you can't say that. Like, so what do you actually approach them with? And then how do you kind of gauge if this person is approachable or not?
You gauge it off that you don't start a business. You're, hey, how you doing? It's not like, if it's like the chain I would do a lot of RA at back in the day, they were all independently owned and operated. Like it was a grocery outlet. I would kill it on that. I would do it. They're independently owned and operated. So what happens is each store, there's an owner. Like they're franchised out, which made so if you wanted to order something, you could ask them to order if it's still available. And with that, you build those connections up in the relationship so they feel comfortable ordering something for you, and then you'll actually pick it up. And like I was willing to deal with them, and I would go in there and literally like, what are other Amazon sellers buying? Like that was literally one of my questions I would ask them once I had that up. I would seek out the owners of a lot of the stores that knew me well and liked me. And I'd be like, what are other Amazon sellers buying? Because they would literally point me at what other people are buying. Like nobody else is asking those questions.
Yeah. Well, it gets into a point that I've been thinking about recently is that I think that we sometimes overlook the people that are like at the front line talking to customers every day or whatever the topic is. They have so much like anecdotal data that you can tap into. You don't even have to look at they will say what the product is. You then go pop into the seller amp and you're like, oh yeah, they're right. Like they know what's happening. They know it's a bolo. They don't know how to articulate it, but I can pull that out of them.
And they half the time they sitting on some wild goose chase, but the other half of the time they're kicking me bills. Like they make me money, and that's like at the end of the day, like it's better to ask a question, get sent to the wrong product or something that's not good versus not asking at all. Because like even when you ask them, like if they're like, oh, what do you do? Like, why are you buying all this stuff? Oh yeah, like if it's a cool store too, you have the store, you gotta be low key. But a lot of them you can be, like, oh yeah, I sell on Amazon. Like, they're like, oh cool, how do I get into it? I'm gonna be honest. I've told 1 million people to sell on Amazon. Like, I don't know many people that are still doing it. Like
1 or 2 maybe.
You know, and that's not a bad thing. But like, tell them what you try to help them, because you even try to help them in that aspect. And just tell them like, hey, where to start in the basics. Then they'll be more inclined to help you too. Like play it back and forth. They're not going to take all the good product from there.
Yeah.
Like, and if they do, you have a really bad business model. That's
well, and you're always kind of something I just see from you is you're always in the gear of how can I provide others value, and then I'll get some value in return. So I mean that just sets you up really well for
Big
kind
service.
of all business.
Big service.
That's really what people need to be thinking about when they want anything in life is how can I offer value, and then at some point down the line, I'm sure I'll get some in return. But that and then you really don't care if you fail. Like you really don't. Like you just keep going after it and going after it. Can you kind of speak to how you maintain that momentum and just navigate from topic to topic without losing speed?
like with store managers and stuff.
Anything, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of how you work.
Yeah, you just like I think I get what you're trying to say is like you're just so boom, 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 boom. Like one door closes, you just kick down the next door and you just keep going.
I have ADHD and I'm hyper focused on making a bag. Like it just works. Like I don't know.
No, I know, but some people, I think that they get not like failure, but I think you have no. I don't want to say no shame, but especially when it comes to talking to people and store managers, like you're just if you can fix this, if you can work for me, you can. If you can't, see you later. I'll find someone else who can get the job.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, who wants my money? Like, who do I want the money from? Like, people are gonna help me. I'm out. Like,
Right.
It's a value thing. Like, my closest people, they provide a ton of value to me. Why are they my closest? Because they provide the value. Like, and I provide the value back. I want to reciprocate it. Like, I'm not just gonna give you lead, and then you give me nothing.
Right.
Like, you're not gonna get anything from me. Versus, oh yeah, you kick me stuff here and there. We're bullshitting on the phone, this and that. Like, okay, that's how you build a connection. Like, I mean, I know you, Kat, you're always the one that says this. What do I do at trade shows?
He finds whoever he knows like the least and just goes and talks to them the entire time.
This is true.
Like he'll literally go up to a group of people that he doesn't know at all, and then that'll be who he spends the entire time with. And then he'll just come back to the room and be like, all right, I'm going to bed for his 2-hour nap that he calls a slumber, and then wake up and do it all over again.
Yep.
But why I do that? Because I have my friends. Why do I need to hang out with my friends at events that I can hang out with anytime? Why not meet new people, learn different skills, different things? I have a call with the people tomorrow or Friday that I met at ASD to help me on the next frontier of my business.
Yep.
This is why I do it, because your friends, like I can always talk to these guys. I love them to death, but I'm trying to meet new people, trying to figure out different strategies. Like there's so much out there and everybody's just like in their little box. It's like I used to send so many cold DMs back in the day for that outreach, like to other sellers. Like you just shoot your shot. Like some people are real nice, and like other people just won't be as nice. Like it just depends, like what they want to do with their time and stuff. So, like if you're doing, what were you saying?
Yeah, bro. I just saw you throwing it on. What's going on? I gotta reach out. Here we go.
Is that your Steven impression?
No,
I mean, so Steven, you're going and you're not afraid to meet new people. So it's going to serve you very well in business, and honestly, kind of like a serial killer's dream. Like that's what you are. But just talking to strangers. But no, but I do see you do that. You know a lot of people, and honestly, like your ability to create those relationships is what really sets you apart. Now, kind of shifting a little bit, how did Q4 go? Did we learn anything? What do we want to talk about here? I know you had some ambitious goals.
Q4 did not go as planned. Amazon lost a big shipment. Somehow the closing date even got pushed back. It was supposed to close the other day. But on another note, they lost like at least 80,000 rev on that. Really slow check-in times. Like we're still packed pretty heavy with Q4 stuff, but some of the stuff we did plan to sell now, and that's moving. We do sell a lot of stuff with Amazon on the listing. So like Amazon just dropped the price significantly. We kind of expected that. We expected also to sell through a lot of that during Q4 too. I think our inventory evaluation is still like 450,000 right now of rev. And there's that. But if I had to do Q4 over again, what I would do is I would do small shipments, still FBA most of it, but send them daily and like do like 400 or 500 units rather than like 1,000 or 2,000 thing. We work on 4 or 5 days and send it in versus repetitively sending it in. They lose when one gets messed up. That's fine. We still have the majority of other stuff going in versus like sending one massive one in, just keep repetitively sending small ones.
Is that to spread the risk just among shipments?
Yeah.
You're increasing your surface area of luck. Like if you're all dependent on one shipment and it's a huge shipment and something goes wrong, you're toast. So that's a good learning lesson for next year.
TEB9, baby.
Yeah, it went TBE9 too. They decided to order a truck and truck it somewhere, an entire shipment. They received 42 out of, I believe, 1,800 units.
Ooh.
Dude,
no small night.
TEB9 for sure just takes all their products, chucks it in the fuck it bucket, and then just leaves it there. You know what I mean? Like
they had an Indiana one. I had some stuff.
That is bro. IND4 is the worst.
Just had some stuff.
And IND4 is shoes, so you know the employees. I swear to you can look up. There's articles. There's like a petition for people to like look like from the local news stations. Like people are signing it to look into what's going on at IND4. 100%. There's people that work at IND4 that sell shoes on the side and are stealing.
We need to do a fit check in Indiana. We need to see how they got some styling sneakers for sure.
Yeah, that's
bro. They'd be slapped their own FNSQ label on there.
Maybe they do.
Nah, that's crazy.
That would be wild. But like, yeah, that
A.
Bro, imagine coming to work with a pocket full of effing SKUs and you're literally just slapping them goings on there like every single day.
You're doing prep in the parking lot.
Prep them and throw them on the conveyor belt.
Dude, I wonder if that would obviously mess up the system, but like I wonder if that would actually work if you were.
It would work. What do you? I mean, yeah.
They have such high volume, they probably just wouldn't even. It'd just be whatever. Oh, got a weird one.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy.
What's gone missing? Like, they just never would have received it.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, the more you kind of get into the weeds of all the logistics, it just gets crazy. Like there is some leakage not only from Amazon, but then the carriers, like they're dealing with it. But that's when you just throw seller investigators in here, and you'll be fine. But
I mean, a big thing that helps plug early could just like my VA does the leakage aspects. Like we lose in those aspects. Part of his job is to submit the invoices, submit everything.
Yep. So I know you're a huge proponent of having at least one staple VA. Can you talk a little bit about that? I know this is one of your favorite topics.
Oh, this is one. Don't even get. You got me started. So there's things you do as a VA. What I'd say is you always need, if you're as a group, like you can have as many sourcing VAs as you want. That does not matter of like your group. You need one personal VA You don't share them. He can know some of your trade secrets. He can know your stuff. And he once you get the trust with him, like he'll probably start sourcing. You'll start working on other stuff. But he can do your administrative stuff. He can do your purchasing. He can do some sourcing if he runs out of stuff to do. But he can just do the dumb stuff. Not even dumb stuff. That's the wrong
repetitive.
Not even repetitive. The stuff you just don't like to do. Like I am terrible at staying organized and doing paperwork. My VA is goated at that. Like I just don't do that. Like,
no, you should be offloading. You should be offloading your weaknesses.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
To your point, like I'm not great with organization. Our shared VA is far and away better, and so I can dive in, understand how to do something, teach her, and then the quality of that is going to be a lot better. So yeah, to your point, when do you think people should get VAs?
There's a scale: money, time. Where are you at in your scale?
Yep.
You have more time than money? Well, if you have more time than money, then you got to do everything. If you have $20,000 sitting in the bank and you don't have enough time to source because you're doing other stuff or you don't have enough time to buy it, then you get a VA.
Yeah.
It's basic. It's like what's needed.
I think when balls begin to be dropped in your business, that is the moment. So if you can no longer reasonably, attend to your commitments, your personal, gym, whatever it is, and you're starting to just have this backlog of stuff that you literally don't have time for, that's probably the moment where you need it.
It's scary letting go too, especially like when you, I don't know, for me at least, I think I've heard a lot of people talk about this too as entrepreneurs, like letting go of, because, if you're an entrepreneur and you're starting your own business, you basically, everything's on you. And so you've built this thing up by yourself pretty much. And you've done every aspect, and at least for me, I'm like such a control freak. So letting go has been like weird. I'm like, okay, well, she can definitely do this and she can handle that. And that also helps because we hired a killer. I mean, like RV, she's the GOAT. So I'm really confident in her ability to really do anything. She's super smart. So
I mean, she's great. I mean, shout out Lance. Like he does a great job. We have I haven't told you guys about this, but we have some things in the works that I just gave him full autonomy on because he's demonstrated over an extended period of time that he does a really nice job. So like shout out Lance. Surprise for you guys, I guess, at some point. But no, just being able to have that like good back and forth and that trusting relationship, to let go is it's a hurdle. Because I remember when we started this podcast, I was editing it, and could I be sourcing? Could I be, helping, train, our admin VA? There's other things that I could be doing, and Lance is really good at this, so I just let him go. He does a nice job. So,
Steven's like best friends with his VA. Your VA is in our Discord. He added.
Oh, dude, he's in the restocks. Like some restocks.
He's one of the boys.
Bro, Instagram.
Also, he's in Pakistan, so his time when he's not working is not when I'm up. So he gets literally the restock. Well, you guys are slumped. Well, my guys just tried to stock that out before you guys woke up.
Yeah.
Like,
what's the biggest hack that you've come across in your experience with having a virtual assistant? Like, what's the biggest lift for you?
Competence and being like, my VA is not afraid to put me in my place. Like, obviously, he's like very reasonably too. But like, all right, I said I was going to do something and I forgot to. Like about 3 or 4 times, he'll really get on my case, and that's what made him stand out from every other VA. Because I hired other VAs that they all hail Steven. No, like that's not what I want. Like I want someone who's gonna put me in my place when I slack, when I'm screwing up. And hey, you didn't do this right, or hey, where's hey, we need to get on a call about this. Like most of them just kind of like want to tiptoe around when in reality, like especially if you're a guy, like you don't mind getting told like, yo, like this needs done and this, that. And, like I love that about my VA. And I almost fired him at the start because I was looking for someone that kind of already knew how to source and stuff. And he would be on my case on stuff, wanting to be taught and trained and learn. Like, and because he was so determined to get good, like bro became my top VA.
You can't teach that. That's like innate.
No, and
that drive and the desire to want more, learn more, and work hard, that you can't teach that, you know.
And I'm not someone to ever stop him. Like I want him, and I ask him nowadays to like ask how much should we buy. And sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. And sometimes we go through this thing even if he's wrong, because then I can walk through at some point that lesson with him. Do I lose some money? Yes. But what do I want at the end of the day? Do I want to run an OA store, or do I want to work on something else, even in the Amazon space? And that's what I'm working on right now, is other things in the Amazon space. Well, he gives me that ability to be able to work on other things. So I trust him. Like he's got a credit cards mine, like he does purchasing, like he does a lot of this stuff that like, I've had the conversation with him at some point too, is down the line, if he ever wants a VA under him, because I put a lot on him. And if he can't do his job, and he says he's good right now, but at some point, probably within the next 6 months, he's going to need somebody under him as we grow and I add my responsibility on him.
Yep.
And that's when he'll need somebody under him to do the other tasks.
Yep.
That maybe more the organization, whatever he does want, but that's growing a business, is you're building it out versus, you're doing nothing as you doing this. $10,000 a month, you're scared to do prep, like you're scared to give prep to other people, but you can't scale it.
Right.
Like, yeah, I save money on prep, but could you bought more inventory during that time?
Yeah, time, like what do you value your time at? That's what the prep center for me was. I did out how many hours a month I was prepping, and then I divided by that how much time that was going to cost me to go to a prep center, and I was valuing my time at like $4 an hour or something like that.
Yeah, I think people do themselves a disservice, and they don't, especially when you're starting, they place so much emphasis on money because that's probably a limiting factor at that time. But as things kind of progress, think about the implications of bringing all of that prep into your home, the stress that it adds to you over time, the strain on relationships. Unless you have an outfit like Steven, we could talk about that, because that really empowers your RA operation, is that you basically have a warehouse.
Oh, yeah. I'm not doing it. My preppers, one broke his hand, the other one's kind of working all their stuff. And I'm also traveling, so in sales tax stuff.
But for Q4, it worked.
Yeah, for Q4 it worked very well. We'll get it going potentially next year for Q4.
Yeah.
But we sent it just a lot of the products just make sense in the prep. Did I send some stuff to my house for prep today? Yeah, because my prep rates wouldn't match on one thing, because it was literally a very close 30% ROI, and we can get started on my ROIs too, about where we have to go in a minute.
That's a good point. We could
this is fine. I've sold this in the past. I sold 200 of them, and then I got 4 returns. That made sense to run at a 30% ROI, since I didn't get returns in the past. A 2% return rate is a very healthy return rate.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Because normally your ROI is a lot higher. Like I send you leads and you laugh at me, because what is your ROI requirement, Steven?
It depends on the product.
But I've heard a number.
All right, so usually it's a 30%, but I have to know the return rate or know ish. If you're pretend buying Puma socks and you've sold another sock in the past across the board, well, that's gonna have a low return rate versus, you buy some women's bras. I've done that before in store. Shout out to Haynes back in the day.
No shame.
No shame. Dude, I had carloads of them. Those you run a 20% return. It eats your bottom line.
Yeah.
If I ran a 30% ROI on that, I would lose money or break even somewhere in that round. I didn't run the actual numbers on that, but I know I have a 20% return rate on 400 or 500 units sold.
Yep.
So with that being said, it doesn't make sense with a 30% return on investment. And women's stuff is usually 60%, if not higher potentially.
Yep. Because you got to make the hassle worth the time.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to make money at the end of the day. We have someone that got literally their store not audited, but an account they ran the books on it. He wasn't making much money on some products that he thought he was, because he didn't have a high enough ROI.
Yep. Nope, that makes a lot of
sense. Your tax on fees and other things too that Amazon charges you. Look at all the things they hit you on fees. It's not just you get the product back. You got all the fees. You got
100%. So, I know that you're traveling over the next month or so. I do think you're going to bail on me for Switzerland.
Oh,
I think you've already bailed in the Instagram DMs. But what are your 2024 goals outside of bailing on our trip?
I would still like to make our trip happen. I'm skiing. Hold up.
That's
I never
crazy.
bail. Bro's just yapping out here like this.
Yapping.
Yapping. Like,
He's yapping.
I just don't want to get his numbers up. But
Pretty straight canceled. I have receipts.
But no, wait, well, let's get the ski trip because I'm going skiing out west in like February, and then March is open, so we can bounce there in March.
You're not doing? Wait, you're still going to Thailand, right?
Yeah, I'm going there. Like that's booked. I leave on the 20th.
So what are you just gonna go from Thailand over to Switzerland?
No, I go to Thailand. I'm gonna come back for ASD. And I'm skiing out west with the fam. Pete, you're also welcome, and you guys are welcome to join that too.
All right.
Like, book that. I was gonna ski between ASD and the ski trip just the week after, so I was just gonna stay out there out west.
And then you're gonna go back to Thailand, or you stay? How long are you going to Thailand for?
I don't know. ASD is kind of the only thing that I'm riding up against, so
We'll get you to Miami.
probably not. Just because like it's just the time I have over there.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd love to go, but I just
Wow.
This guy's a real scumbag, huh? Him and Dewey just finessing and puddling out in Thailand, bro. Unbelievable.
Oh, okay. I was like, it was like straight darts at Jimmy.
They had no beef with Jim Bob, Slim Bob.
No, you just go, okay. I was like, that caught me off guard a little bit. So, so what is there anything that new you're looking to incorporate in your business? Anything, or are you just same plan as we've been on?
Yeah, so we'll go back a bit. So this year, originally, I wanted to focus on wholesale. And I'll say why I'm not going as hard on wholesale. And I mean, wholesale is great. I have a lot of funds, and I have been doing OA for a long time. I am able to spend my funds pretty easily, almost like POs. And it doesn't make sense to take a lower return on ROI on wholesale when you have more lead times and like you buy for a longer amount of time. And for me, in my business at the moment, it does not make sense since I don't have as big of a cash reserve. And wholesale is something I will work into as in kind of the VA. If I have more cash sitting than invest, then I need to invest that money and I can put it more into wholesale. But I have some other like private label products, some content stuff. That's the real outlook on this year is just building out those other avenues and stuff.
Big announcements coming soon.
In a while.
You basically do wholesale.
Yeah, you do wholesale.
You do wholesale. It's basically wholesale. You've actually found a way to finesse the system because the margins are a lot and the ROI is a lot higher OA, and you do that like wholesale. Yeah, I think to your point what you're saying earlier, almost you would lose money making wholesale from what you're doing right now. But you've been able to systemize that out and really build those relationships and stuff, which is so important, which we also talked about earlier and stuff. But it's scalable in the way that you're doing it. Great. But I think you need a distinction because I think it's scalable either way, but the way you're doing it is the smartest way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like, I won't look at a website. Oh, gosh. I mean, I don't even look at these ones. But, like, I know Hibbit will cancel a lot. I don't look at Hibbit because I'm not getting bulk from it. Like, I'm not going to look at these sites that they're just not going to let me buy volume from because that's not where my business is made. Like, my money's made. Like, I have a few big places I go to, and everything I buy is, like, backdoor. Like, you will rarely ever see me purchase something at the sticker price. Like, you might think you know where I'm getting it from. I'm getting it from somewhere else probably. Or if I'm getting it from there, I'm getting it for a lower price than you are. And I mean that in a genuine way. Because my business kind of operates in the area of like the ins and outs and the weird areas. And like these guys bought stuff for me too. Like they see the stuff, some of the stuff I buy. Like it's never
moded.
usually it's like moded. Like I don't use really gift cards much. On some websites a little bit I do. But majority no.
Yeah.
Like nothing against it. It's just I'm not organized. So if I get canceled or something, I'm screwed. I'm losing more money. So we're keeping it basic. But
most people are not able to they don't have the energy that you do to even do what you do, or they're just like the way that you see things is you're constantly reverse engineering to the best possible solution for what that thing can give you, and like to the extreme. And you're really good at breaking down systems and like attacking it from behind so you can get access to something that typically someone wouldn't even bother doing because it takes so much effort. But if they could, it would be worth a lot of money, you know? And I think you're really good at that. And it is interesting because I don't know a ton of OA sellers and stuff like that, but you're the most unique one, I think, by far, out of everyone.
Well, I'm looking for loops. Like that's literally a lot of businesses find like different things and stuff. And like not a lot, but some of it is. You know, the majority of it is building relationships. But like I like to look for the weird things that like maybe but this could add to this, and then all right, like the Cupid or the Capital One Shopping, it's not going to pull these codes up. Like, and then a lot of it just comes down to the network too. Like the boys are throwing loops back and forth to you. Like, you know, it's not the basic things.
But so yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, you go deep on stuff, and I don't know.
I mean, that's honestly is like you just buy it at certain times, and you just know when stuff's good. Know when this stuff's good. Like we bought something. I wish I bought 1,000 units of. I bought 300 units of. Like we're sold out. We sold out, and there's a lot of stuff. I wish I could do Q4 differently. If I did it differently, I would gotten also a couple longer term loans and some bigger loans.
But you're not afraid to go against the grain. Like you look at a situation, and you have a sense of what everybody's doing, and you're not afraid to go against that. So when people are dipping, you're diving. And so I think that's something that you should really think about if you're starting OA is like, you got to think a little differently.
I'm using the same way. Like a VA thinks, an average VA will think the same way that every other average VA thinks. Yes, let me go run the coupon codes. Let me reverse source. Mm-hmm. My VA is probably banned from reverse sourcing because every lead freaking tanks. Like, why? Because everyone wants reverse sourcing. He's got to do manual, but he's set on missions though. He's set on this with this coupon, and he only sources that way. Like specific sites. He gives like 4 sites a day, 4 or 5. He sources every day. Mm-hmm. He's cool, but we just started this, but after a couple of weeks, he'll know these products. Just be able to scroll. Like, all right, this price changed. All right, let's pop this open. All right, scroll more and pop. And it'll be base stuff. He knows I'm buying what I want. It's not rocket science.
I do think reverse sourcing works when like you're just starting and you don't have any of this infrastructure in place that takes time. Yeah. So like you don't need the week and a half to get it into FBA, and you're going to FBM it, get in and get out, and you're just dabbling out markets. Like I think that's fine.
You almost need to start by reverse sourcing because you're not going to know what to sell, right? Like if you go manual and you just go one by one on every single product on the site, dude, it's going to take forever. But you start to learn the market by looking at what other people are selling, and then eventually you kind of know, okay, everyone's selling, you know, black shoes. Okay, when I go on this website, I'm gonna look for black shoes, and you kind of just are able to do that. So you know,
I mean, but like, why it doesn't work for us is we can't buy 10 units or a test buy. That's not our business model. For you, like our test buy 50 to 100. Like 500 units is a test buy sometimes for us in certain situations.
Reverse
we occasionally buy lower, like less product, very often. Yeah. But on a usual thing, we need to buy a lot of units, and we think it's good. If I think it's going to tank, I'm not buying it. The Kiva chart's not perfect. Stuff doesn't make sense because that's when you lose money, and that's like literally how you like.
You are extremely particular. Like very particular.
But that's why I've made a lot of money doing this. Like, because like, you can reverse. Like I could throw my storefront out here on my good ASINs. You guys can reverse source for years.
I know one of your loops, and I still have not cracked it.
No, I know your loops, but I haven't
been able to. I mean, I respect. I wanted to do it for the one time just to know that I knew. But I have not cracked it.
Look at Steven's eyes. Like, do you see his eyes just go like this?
I don't care. You can crack it. He's got my next prep center signed an NDA on my loops on some of my aspects.
Fair enough. That's not a bad idea.
You're signing an NDA?
I already signed the NDA, so I won't comment on anything.
Yeah.
I can't disclose where Steven gets any of his products from.
Oh,
yeah.
It only makes sense.
Big Tam.
Yeah, but like someone asks, like I need to hide with, like I need moats around. Like if some of this stuff comes out, like I'd be screwed.
No, well, that's
not
understandable,
Cat's my
yeah.
boy, but like also like, this is like something like I don't share. Like,
Business.
Right. No, yeah, and I respect.
That's, I mean, there's nothing personal about that. That's just like
Yeah.
business at the end of the day. Like
Yeah.
this is how
I know,
you
weird. I've never asked for it, but like,
no, this is how you make your money. You know, it's
yeah, exactly.
He calls me up. He goes, "Oh, this isn't going to be a fun conversation." I'm just like, "All right, I'll draft over an NDA and send it over to you. I'll have like the lawyer draft up an NDA."
I feel bad because my boy and I absolutely trust him.
no, but it's at a certain point, it's just it almost
business,
makes
dude.
the relationship easier because then it's just like,
It's
hey, we're both
business.
good. You don't have to
Yeah,
think about
That's
it.
it.
You know what? It actually is more trustful because then you just don't have to worry about anything, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Then you know, because I think another thing too is like doing business with friends can get tricky sometimes, and I think that's where like communication and like being honest with people is huge.
Yeah.
Like I just can't say enough about communication. I don't know. Some people
Well,
like
I mean, within our group, we don't have to worry about it. Like if someone's messing up, everybody is trusts the group and knows that everybody's looking out for each other.
right.
And then if I have to tell you that you're being stupid, I still love you, but you're being stupid. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a bonus gem. I have a call at 7:00, but I got a bonus gem for anyone who's made this one. How to keep your limit up on your Amex Plum card.
There it is.
There it is, my favorite conversation to have with you. So that's new. How do I not get a $4,000 plum limit? Like somebody in this call has a low plum limit. Why? Because you didn't listen.
I'm on lock
Listen.
now. I'm on lock now.
What's your spend limit, boy?
It's
Boy, he said, "Boy, what's those spending, boy?"
Exactly.
private information.
All right.
But I'm
We have a
I'm still
hard
working.
limit now at over 100. We're like 120 or 150,000. I forget. I know how to do it right. This is the key. You pay in large increments. You don't pay 1,000 here or 1,000 there. You ran it up for, we'll use $100,000 example. Minimum payment, when the minimum payment comes around, it has to be half, like minimum. Ideally, you pay it all in full. That can always happen. No, you pay it as much as you can. If it's on a non-preset spending limit, and if it's not, if you already have a crappy hard limit, you rail it with big payments. That is how you get that limit up. Like literally, like I have a decent credit. I have a good credit score, but like I just hit it with massive payments, and like my average spend used to be like 60, 70,000 a month, and like I railed it over Q4, and like I wanted to get it higher, and I don't mind I got locked in at that limit because I now have a hard limit. But if you are a broke person, you are going to do it with small payments, and then what is American Express going to think you are? You're a brokey. So you want to look big.
Insecure. Yeah,
You want to look big.
scrabbling
You want to get that payment over the whole month, paying your daily payouts, and then you save it, and then you hit American Express with that $50,000 payment. If you have it up for $100,000, but whatever it is, you want to pay more than that, at least half of that balance, because that makes it so looks like you have money. You don't want to carry balances. You can't screw up other credit cards. Like I have a feeling, and this is like a guess, but I think they kind of know when you run up another credit card a lot. Now it can also affect your preset spending limit, and your credit score can also affect it. But that's a stipulation on if you have a high credit score on another card. That is not factual information. The other stuff is factual because I've called American Express like many times. How can I increase my spend power? How can I run it better? So
Bro
that's
is a
the gem.
frequent caller there.
Oh, yeah.
This guy again. All the call center agents, all 7,000 of them, they all know him.
They probably have a nickname. They probably have a nickname for you.
I'm actually got it pinned up in like wherever all the call centers are, like India and stuff. Like, don't pick up to this guy. Don't talk to this guy.
They're
Real
like,
quick.
oh, it's mules again.
I know you're gonna go real quick. We gotta wrap this up, but can you explain to people why you chose the hard limit over a flexible spending in this particular circumstance?
I didn't choose it, but when I was forced to take it, they gave me a lot of money.
Oh, I thought you chose it.
Yeah, so they were like, no, I didn't ask for it. I was inquired about it, and like then they did like a review on my account. They do like I guess yearly, and then like I had to send 3 months of statements, and I got a little healthy. Like I was paying my stuff on time. I did have like a massive balance. I had like I think $170,000 balance on it, like some ridiculous balance on it after Q4, and then they gave it like forced me to take gave me a hard limit, but they gave me a high hard limit because of my payment history. My average payment, I think a while ago when I talked, it was like $43,000. Like this is a couple months ago. Like I haven't asked them what it was recently, and obviously it's gone up over time. So with them seeing that, they want to give you more money because you're responsible with it and you have a high payment.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So,
But well, cool. Well, Stephen, thank you for joining as our unofficial fourth host. We appreciate you coming into the tribe of hosts on your first episode, real episode. But thank you for coming on. Thank you for running with Sets with Stephen. More to come there. And yeah, to the audience, we'll catch you next time.
Next time.